Hey, welcome to another episode of the Art of Grace podcast where God is creating a better you. Our special guest today is none other than Captain Latisha Howard of She Was Me Incorporated. This is a great episode. You don't want to miss a minute of it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Art of Grace podcast where God is creating a better you. I'm your number one Grace girl, Farah, and I am here today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon with a dear friend of mine, Latisha Howard. Before I jump into this episode, I want to ask you all who are watching right now not to forget to subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and comment. We want to hear from you. Listen, this is going to be a great episode. We have a lot to share. But first, I want to start off by reading Latisha's bio to you. So Latisha Howard is a native of Sanford, Florida, and married to Edward Howard Jr. She is a loving mother of three and proud grandmother of three. She attended the public schools of Seminole County, Florida, and graduated from Seminole High School in 1992. She has nearly 30 years experience in law enforcement, with nearly 20 of those years in a leadership position. She is employed with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office as a captain assigned to the John E Polk Correctional Facility. Latisha earned her bachelor's degree in general studies and her master's degree in leadership. She has a passion for speaking to and inspiring young women in her community. Her passion comes from being a teenage single mother. She knows firsthand the importance of having positive role models in her life. In 2020, she started her own nonprofit organization, She Was Me Incorporated. Her vision for the organization is to be a beacon of hope to young women who are currently experiencing the same things she experienced in her past. The motto of the organization can be defined in 3 words: never give up. Latisha is a recent published author with the release of her debut book, Roar, Rising Over Adversity Resiliently. In it, she shares her powerful journey of overcoming the challenges of being a teenage mother and rising to become an award-winning leader in law enforcement. Her story is one of resilience, determination, and triumph. In her spare time, she likes spending time with her family and friends. Welcome again with me, Mrs. Latisha Howard. This is an awesome bio.
Thank you.
It was so awesome. And, one of my first questions that I wanted to ask you, because I just was reading something, you talked about, being an inspiration to young women. Who inspired you?
My biggest inspiration came from my mom.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, your mom.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So listen, a few weeks ago, I was able to attend your book release. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, you had it outdoors.
Yes.
In Sanford, of course. You could have had it anywhere else.
Yes.
What made you decide to have it in our city?
So I thought about why not blossom where I was planted at.
Yes.
So of course it had to be Sanford. No other place but Sanford.
Listen, I mean, you had a crowd.
Yes.
On a weekend day when people could be doing anything, they came out and celebrated you.
Yes.
And I want to congratulate you on being a new published author.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you know what? Your life is a book. As I was reading your bio, being a young mom, being in law enforcement for over 20 years. I mean, not a lot of people make it that far in law enforcement.
Yes, that's true.
It's a very hard job. It takes a lot of stamina, mental capacity.
Yes.
And so that's exciting in itself.
Yes.
So now, where did the title Roar come from?
So the title Roar came from, so if you know me, I am a true Leo.
Okay.
My zodiac sign is Leo. And I always roar, especially during my birthday month.
Okay.
But roar to me is a sign of empowerment, resilience. So I say, why not name my first book Roar?
That's amazing.
After being so resilient and overcoming so many obstacles in life.
Yeah. And so being a young mom, what did that look like for you? Was it high school? Was it ending high school? Where were you at in your teenage, years that you had a child?
So I actually found out I was pregnant the week of my high school graduation.
Wow.
So I had my son after high school graduation, but I found out I was pregnant the week of graduation.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So what did that do for you? I mean, it's funny because, it's kind of like one of those wise tales where, people, they get with the love of their life in like the ending of the high school, the prom,
yes.
like that whole thing.
Yes.
And, so how'd you feel your mom, who is your cheerleader?
Yes. Well, so I know it was disappointment. My mom had me as a teenage mother.
Okay.
And so she had a different plan for my life.
Yeah.
We had a different plan for my life. So initially it was probably disappointing.
Okay.
And it changed the trajectory of my life. I was supposed to be the first one in my family to attend college.
Yes.
Be the first college graduate. However, that changed after my pregnancy.
Wow.
Yes.
So, what did you want to be before that? Because you said you guys had a plan, right?
Yes.
Because we do. As parents, we tend to vicariously live through our children,
Yes.
things that we want to accomplish, things that we want to do. We don't want, it's like we're looking at our children. We don't want them to disappoint the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
It's a community thing
Yes.
for us. I'm not going to say just in our culture, but that's just how we are.
Yes. So my initial plan was to be an attorney.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I had plans to go and get my 4-year degree and then go off to law school.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Wow. And then so that totally pivoted.
It did.
And stuff. And so how'd your mom support you through that?
So my mom and my grandparents, they were very supportive. I tell everybody my biggest adversity being a single mother was financial instability.
Got it.
However, I had my mom and my grandparents there. Whenever I worked, they would babysit the children. Mm-hmm. So I never really worried about childcare in the fear of not having my kids protected while I went out to provide a living for them. So I think they were always there. Whatever schedule I had, I could pick up the phone and call her or either my grandparents. And, yeah.
What a blessing.
Yes.
And so now you're a teenage mom. Did you go to school right after? Because how did you get into law enforcement of all things?
So for initially, when I first found out I was pregnant, I did go to Seminole State for one semester before I had my son. And then after that, at the time, I worked at a local restaurant, Hardee's.
Okay.
So while working there, I think I stayed there for like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And then I transitioned to a manufacturing company.
Okay.
And at that manufacturing company, I met another young lady whose story was similar to mine. Mm-hmm. We both were young mothers with 2 children, and we knew we needed more, and we knew we could accomplish more. So she found this program called New Direction. And the program gave grants to single parents who wanted to go back to school to further their education, vocational wise. We both knew that we couldn't go and attend 4 years, so I was looking for something quick where I could support my family. And that's what I did. Because I always wanted to go into law, I looked at law enforcement and I looked at corrections, and I started with corrections.
Got it. I love what Latisha did. She started out with vocation, because that's what I did. I was in high school and I was unsure what I wanted to do, and my guidance counselor pushed me into a vocational school, which I went into dentistry, and I've grown in that and have been in the field for over 30 years. Yes. So I know what that looks like. So for those of you who are watching, who, maybe your children, they're confused, they don't know what they want to do. And the pressure of college is not for everyone.
It is not.
It is not for everyone. It doesn't mean you can't start out in the vocational area and stick with it. Because there's so many great opportunities in that.
Yes.
So it's like, you were lined up with another woman, which I love that.
Yes.
How you all were thinking alike.
Yep.
Right? Because, we come from a community. I mean, you're right from here in Sanford. I grew up in the inner city, and it's not always easy to find someone who's in the same space as you. Right. Mentally and all of that.
I think that's very important, to find somebody who is as focused and as driven as you are, because sometimes your circle depends on what altitude that you reach. So if you have someone who's not thinking big, then you start thinking small. Yeah. So we started together. I started in criminal justice. Okay. She started in medical. She's now a nurse practitioner. Wow. Next month she goes up for
Have I met her?
You have not, but I'm going to have to introduce you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Next month she goes up to, she's finishing her doctoral.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So amazing.
That is incredible. You're an inspiration to a lot of women around you. The one thing I love about Latisha is her humility. You wouldn't know what you do. I mean, you don't just outwardly just walk into a room and just say, this is what I do. Like, your humility is it just goes before you. Yes. And so when I saw what you were doing, I was surprised. Yeah. Not just your work, but the work you're doing outside of that. What she is me. And we're going to talk about that. But a few weeks ago, I was talking to one of your close friends, and she was sharing her story about how you inspired her to get into law enforcement. Yes. Xavier. Uh-huh. Just giving you a shout out to Xavier. Love you so much. She was out there, supporting you during your book release a few weeks ago. And let's talk about that, inspiring somebody else to go into law enforcement, because she shared a little bit of her story with me.
Yes.
And now she's doing big things in law enforcement.
She is. She's doing really big things. She's transitioned to the educational piece now.
Yes.
She's working and mentoring other men and women coming into the law enforcement field. But I think sometimes you don't realize the inspiration that you have on people just by being you.
Yes.
And until they tell you. So a lot of times you're not aware until they tell you. And I think sometimes when you talk about your experience in your career, and I think sometimes that motivates other individuals to like, hey, if she can do it, I can too.
I mean, because I'm sure you've had some hard times at work, but for her to believe in what she was seeing you do,
yes,
and for her to then go into it, I mean, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. It really does. And I think we all have hard times in our careers, but I love what I do. So I think that shows, that exudes. So that's why a lot of people who see what I do want to be involved in what I do. Because law enforcement is not just about providing security and providing services. It's also about impacting your community.
Yes.
Sometimes they need to see people like me in those positions. Yes.
And I mean, for you, deciding that you're going into law enforcement and you actually work in our community.
Yes.
How does that look?
I started out actually working in Daytona until I transitioned here, because I did have a fear of working in the community that I live in.
Yeah.
Not a fear of safety, but wow, what if I run into a friend or a family member? But I think that fear outweighs the benefit of them seeing somebody from their community in an authoritative position that can either help you or, stir you on the right path. So I think it's become a blessing more than a fear of mine.
So, I mean, the emotional side of that, seeing somebody, you're working in the community and maybe not a friend that's your age, but maybe their child. What does that do for you?
Well, it gives me an opportunity to talk to them.
Okay.
We all have expectations. Like my mom had expectations for me. Their family and their parents have expectations for them. And I get an opportunity. Sometimes you need to hear from someone outside of your immediate family. So sometimes I get an opportunity to talk to them and like, hey, you can do better. You're better than this. This is just a small bump in the road, but you can overcome this. So it also gives me an opportunity to pour back into not just people of my age, but their children's, and then maybe one day their children's children.
Exactly. So seeing women in prison. I mean, that's I have done ministry in prisons with women, and that was hard to see. I mean, you're going and you're loving on them, but what does that look like for you?
It's definitely hard to see, and most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, more women commit crimes based on the mate that they're with at the time, or based on the circle that they surround themselves with. They're more of followers than leaders. So it is disheartening sometimes when you see it. But again, you can pour into those women the same way you pour into women outside in the community. It gives me great honor when I see them outside, and say if a woman has had her child custody removed and she gets incarcerated and she's released, and then she gets custody back with her, of her children, and then I see her and she introduces me to those same kids she once lost.
Oh my God.
That gives me the motivation to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, are you allowed to follow some of their stories outside of that? Do they reach out to you
yes.
and come out? Okay.
I actually see a lot of them outside. I volunteer with a lot of different programs in the community, and some deal with women who are incarcerated. So I do interact with them on a personal level, not personal as in friendship level, but personal as in, hey, what services, what help can I provide?
Exactly. So, and speaking of services, let's talk about She Is Me. How did you decide to start that organization?
So,
I mean, because one, you're a mom, you're a grandma, you're now a published author, you're volunteering, and now you're starting your own nonprofit. You have started, because this has been in existence for a while now. So
this year we'll make our 5th year anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
So it started when I turned 45, and one night me and my husband, we were talking, and I was like, I feel like there's more that I can give. Like I'm really not following my purpose. And we thought about, what else could you do in the community? And God gave me a vision of She Was Me. So when we talk about the influence and how I inspire women in the community, I never really talk about my story of being a teenage mom.
Yes.
You know, people see what they see now. They see someone who's a captain, someone who has a degree, but they don't know the backstory.
Yes.
So was part of me telling my story and letting them know if I could do it, you could do it too.
Absolutely.
So that's how She Was Me came about. We do different events in the community all throughout the year, but the one I'm most proud of, I told you about New Direction.
Yes.
So we do the same thing with She Was Me. Every year we give a scholarship to a single mother who is attending vocational school or even college, just to help them out financially.
I love that. I love that. And the ladies who serve with you, they are so dedicated. How did you get that circle of women, around you that said they bought into your vision?
Most of them are my friends. Most of them are my childhood friends, and then the other ladies are friends within the community that I've grown and had great relationships with. And then some are just ladies who said, I like what you guys are doing. I want to be involved. So I think for my friends, it was just them helping me pursue my vision. And then for the other ladies, it was they saw something amazing that they wanted to be a part of.
And you have a daughter?
I do.
You have a granddaughter?
Yes.
So let's talk about your daughter. So what's your daughter doing?
So my daughter is a nurse. Well, no, she's not. I'm promoting you right now. She's a respiratory therapist.
Awesome.
And she's a graduate of FAMU. But I also have two boys.
Okay.
They get jealous when I don't talk about them.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but I also have two boys. She is in the middle. So my daughter is the middle child. But yeah, and she has a daughter who's 4 years old, Aria. My oldest son, he has two kids, Jason, Jalea. And then my baby boy, who is one who has spread his wings. He works in Austin, Texas, at Travis County Sheriff's Office. He followed in his mom's footsteps, but he's on the forensic side.
That is incredible. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel awesome.
You know what? Okay, speaking about family, because I know you're big into family, you love your church, your husband, what does he think about having a wife in law enforcement?
So he's real supportive.
Okay.
He is really supportive. I have the craziest schedule.
Okay.
I have a crazy schedule at work. And then being a captain, I get those phone calls at night. Sometimes I have to go in at night. And he's just real supportive. He really is. He's if I have to go in at 2:00 at night, he's with my keys and with my purse. He's standing outside to help me to the car. So he's real supportive.
So do you feel safe in that? I mean, because you work for a phenomenal department. Because I've gone in and done the CLEA program, and your boss, Sheriff Lima. Wow. I mean, how do you guys feel about having someone like him leading the department?
He is, and I'm not just saying this because I work for the agency, but I have an amazing boss. He really is. And he loves the community that we serve. Yes. So he allows us to go out in the community. And when I say allow, I don't want to make it seem, but a lot of jobs don't allow you to go out and don't allow you to participate. So he allows us to go out in the community and volunteer. Yes.
People feel like, okay, they're not so bad, right? Because what stigma came with that? Okay, so you're working in your community, you're a woman. What did your friends and family, have you ever thought about did somebody ever think negatively about that?
Well, my family initially, of course, they were real fearful of me having a job in law enforcement because you only see sometimes the bad things that happen. So initially they were real fearful, and I was never a authoritative type person, right? So they were like,
and you started in corrections, you
said. I did.
I mean, how did that look starting out? How old were you? You had to be young.
22.
And you were going into a prison as a correction officer with a young child.
Yes.
And decided to do that. I mean, how did you feel?
The first day, I thought was going to be my last day.
Oh my gosh.
However, I didn't quit.
Yes.
Never give up. I didn't quit.
Yes.
And I just grew to love what I do. And there's not a day. Of course, there's always going to be things that happen. Yeah. But there's not a day that I go to work that I'm in fear.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys have a real support. I mean, I see you all out in the community. I see the sheriff out in the community trying to connect with the people, in the street here, trying to get them to trust and stuff. And not to say that everybody trusts you all, but I've seen a lot of great things.
Yes. It makes it more relatable.
Right?
It shows that we are a part of the community that we serve.
Yeah. So what can we look for? She was me. So what can we look for with that coming up this year?
So we're coming up. We're going to be celebrating our 5th year anniversary. We're planning on doing an amazing event where we're going to support other organizations, but through this event, we want to acknowledge other people in our community that has done great things.
I love that.
Acknowledge people who has supported She Was Me over the past 5 years. So we're looking at an amazing event in September, and then when Thanksgiving and Christmas come around, we'll be doing the same thing, supporting families that's in need.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, I will tell you, I had an opportunity to attend Latisha's vision board party. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was very inspirational. It wasn't just about vision boards. It was about prayer boards. It was about sisterhood. It was about coming together to fellowship. I had a great time.
That's an annual event that we do. I really believe in being organized and setting goals.
Yes.
I believe that's why I've been so successful in my career, by setting goals. Yeah. So one important thing that I want to give back to the community is, hey, have your yearly plan. The vision board is a perfect thing to do. If you don't like vision boards, you got prayer boards, or you have your planners. But set goals. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. So that's what we try to do at our annual vision board event.
It was very successful. Very successful. You were just saying something because I was asking you what was coming up, and you said something. You said, I'm going to support other organizations. Let's speak to that for a minute. What do you think about organizations and women's groups supporting one another? Because that's something that we battle with.
Yes.
Where, I can't go over there and share anything with her. When you're doing something that's so aligned, and you can share and, steer that other organization in a way. And I love your group of women because I met you through Rhea Clark Newman. Shout out to Rhea. She does Tulip Blooms. Xavier has an organization, and then so many others, and you all support each other. Yeah. Like they were there serving you that day. You go and you serve them.
Yes.
Why do we have a hard time doing that?
I think it all depends on the individuals. If you know your purpose, then I don't care what you're doing. I'm not going to talk negative about you. However, I can help you fulfill your purpose, I will. Yeah. And I feel like others should do the same. So when you know your purpose and you're not intimidated, because a lot of women don't communicate and don't work together because sometimes they're intimidated by the other group or the other organization. But all of us have a purpose, and if that purpose is to serve our community, it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter at all. Because I love seeing your group. Shout out to Kiana. When you're doing a podcast episode with her, she's doing great things.
Yes, she is.
And you guys are all. You just take it and just switch the baton up. Okay, this week I'm supporting this one. I'm serving this one. It's not about everybody has to be on that platform at the same time.
And we never do an event alone. If I have an event, they're volunteering with me.
Yeah.
If they have an event, I'm volunteering with them. So and we just collaborate together.
Yeah, I love that. Collaboration is everything. Yeah. So now, where can everybody find your book at?
So you can find my book, Roar.
Yes.
So right now, it's on my website, www.latishahoward.com, and it's also on Amazon. Okay. For some reason, the Amazon link has not been working the last couple of days.
Okay.
Or you can see me in the community, and I have copies with me.
Yes. So question for you, do you do any speaking engagement? Because I want to get that out to the people who are listening and watching, your women's groups, church groups. Are you going out to do any speaking engagements?
Yes. I do speaking engagements. I do different topics. I talk on leadership. I speak on overcoming obstacles. I speak on becoming her, which is talking about becoming the person that you are meant to be. And you can also make contact with me on my website and request me to come out and be a speaker at your event.
I love that. I can't wait. So listen, at the end of this podcast, in the description box, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll have all Latisha's information there. You can also find her on Facebook. This will be uploaded to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So listen out for her. And you're going to see her out in the community. So please, she's approachable. Stop her. But listen, don't forget again, I'm going to say this again, to share, like, subscribe, and comment. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much for, watching the episode today. Thank you so much for sharing the platform. If you are interested in becoming someone who's on the show, a guest, we would love to hear from you. We're reaching out to women in ministry in the marketplace. And what we're doing here is just looking to help and bless other women. So Latisha, where can they find you on your socials? Are you on Facebook? Where are you at?
I'm on Facebook at Latisha Howard.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram I really don't know my handle that well on Instagram, but I'll give it to you.
Everything shares to Instagram from Facebook.
Yes.
Okay? Because we're the rich aunties, so we're getting there when it comes to the social.
We are getting there.
We're getting there. So listen, until next time, we can't wait to see you and hear from you again. And we will see you the next time. Have a good one.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Latisha. And listen, buy the book. The book is amazing. I couldn't even get my copy because that day is sold out completely.
It was.
Yes, it was sold out completely.
Yes.
So yes, I have been hearing nothing but good things. So I want my own copy so I can read my own copy. But it's sold out the day that she was out doing her book release.
And I brought her own copy.
Yes. And I will be making sure to have this on the social so you all can reach out and you can get your own copy. All righty. So until next time, Art of Grace Podcast, we love you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hey, did you enjoy today's episode with Captain Latisha Howard? Listen, reach out to her. She wants to hear from you. Grab that book before it sells out. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until next time.